Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a pleasure to follow the three very distinguished speakers and to be the first man on the platform. I think it's very important. I also have to say that this is the first time I've ever spoken on the platform not wearing a tie, and it's not because I'm subscribing to the new David Cameron style of informality, but because I've had a small operation on my hand, so I couldn't tie my tie. But I was at a Microsoft event at lunchtime, and I noticed that the software and inventors in the IT community are still largely not wearing ties. So I think it's appropriate, because I just wanted to share my reflections this evening on the whole theme about innovation and innovation in the single market, innovation in IT. Because the really big policy initiative for me over the next 12 months is going to be the reform of European research and innovation policy. Mrs Geoghegan-Quinn is working very actively on that, but I do think, and I say this particularly to Neelie Kroes, and to thank her for this, that if we look at recent history about innovation in Europe and innovation ideas, that if you look at what's been going on in Europe and European-supported information technology programs, you will see many new concepts and ideas about how to stimulate innovation bubbling up from people in DG Information Society. And I give you just two simple examples. The first one is something that many of you know I'm very passionate about, and indeed have been leading Parliament's enthusiasm for it, which is how we harness public markets to become more innovative and to become the lead market for new innovations. And that particularly applies to the application of information technology techniques and skills in the delivery of public service in all levels. For example, in health, we're already seeing that this is the first flagship initiative of Mrs Geoghegan-Quinn, but of course we've had ambient assisted living, we've had e-health projects already. In the delivery of other aspects of public service, we see the possibilities. But I don't think we are really harnessing 16% of Europe's GDP that is invested in public markets on encouraging innovation. I found in 2006 and 2007 that all the pioneering policy work on innovative procurement had been done in DG Information Society, not in the single market, not in research, not in enterprise. But finally, we have actually got all of those together. So DG Enterprise are about to launch a call for 15 million euros to develop new programs to encourage companies to become more innovative in procurement. But let's give credit where credit is due. I think those of us working in information technology, in that fast-moving world, know how important these policies are. So that, for me, is something we need to follow through. And it's not specifically on your watch, Commissioner. It's actually how digital tools and ideas are pervading every single strand of policy. Now, secondly, is how we manage research, because the other really successful initiative that's come out of information society investment is the joint technology platforms. Getting together people who own pieces of technology and new technology, the people working at the cutting edge of research, the people evolving that technology, the people who may own pieces of it because they've got some patents in that area, the small enterprises, the large enterprises, the producers of devices, the writers of software, and above all, the content providers and the people who can exploit those inventions. Now, if you get all of those together, you have a fantastically fertile breeding ground for innovation. And that's what's been happening with the joint technology platforms. Two of the most successful ones, which I like to visit regularly because I think it's such a great experience, are in areas like photonics, mobile phone networks, and there are others as well. Now, those tools are now going to be applied generally across innovation policy. So let's not forget where they came from. So when we go to your digital agenda assembly, you know, we need to spread these ideas out of there. And I think one of the things that I feel is that, and this is my concluding remarks, as the chairman of the Internal Market and Consumer Protection Committee, is that I'm not in favour of talking about the digital single market. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the single market is the digital market. And I think we have to be very careful that we don't ring-fence ideas. We actually need to be doing more outreach. I see many friends and colleagues here who I've worked with on areas like telecommunications policy and research for a long time. But we now need to be seen as being the key players in Europe's economic recovery. And I'm actually quite encouraged by the fact that I see in many countries and many treasuries, and I know there are lots of members of council here, but I do see investment in broadband, support to roll out universal broadband, actually receiving some level of priority in current public budgets. Because I think we've finally got across to people that that investment is going to drive growth in the European economy. And the things that my group needs to partner with are some of dealing with some of the softer issues. Marietta was very focused on human rights, and I really admire her for that. It's extremely important. But let's not forget that if we want to make the digital economy work, we need those confident consumers out there who can trust the system to look after their money, their payments, knowing that if they have a problem, it will be dealt with, having dispute resolution mechanisms easily accessible to deal with that, having a common set of consumer rights for distance sales that will make it much easier and simpler for SMEs to put their wares, their products and services on the marketplace, to really exploit that huge market of 500 people in the internal market. An internal market that is underpinned by those tools. And so I can tell you today that my committee reached agreement today with the Council, and it will be formally confirmed tomorrow, on a new consumer rights directive that's going to move that significantly forward. It'll be a great benefit for consumers, it'll be a great benefit for the single market, but particularly those who are exploiting the new tools that are available. So that's something to look forward to. I'm delighted so many people are coming to the Digital Agenda Assembly tomorrow, but next year I think innovation must be absolutely at the top of our agenda. Thank you very much.